community page for said updates to breaking news, older stories, polls, and a little bit of miscellaneous info. All right. Double-edged sword. Sean Puffy Combs. One of his accusers' suit has been dismissed by a judge. She had a certain due date to file paperwork under her legal name, and she did not do so. That lawsuit has been dismissed. Now we have a new suit by a male. His first name is Joseph. Just to give you a brief background. He woke up at a party drugged at the Estefan home in Miami, and they were trying to get him help. The wife was trying to get him help, Gloria, allegedly, and the husband was like, no, he needs to get out of here. So allegedly he was taken to a tunnel to Puffy's house, and he's claiming other eyewitnesses were there, LeBron, Jay-Z, Beyonce. He said they put a penis mask over his head, trying to make fun of him. I don't know what's the truth to this. Once again, same similar type of allegation alongside the many. So even if you take away 2 lawsuits, you still have 100 plus to go. My head was spinning just typing it out to share it to the community page because I was like, I can't listen to this. So feel free to go to my community page and watch the entirety of the information by TMZ. I don't know what's the truth. I don't know about this tunnel on Star Island. What's the truth to that? It has been said in their commentary on TMZ that both houses, Didi's house and Gloria Estefan and her husband's house, is close proximity. Don't know how close, but anyway, is this lawsuit the truth? Allegedly, this incident took place in 2015, where this man claims he woke up incoherent, not aware of his faculties, but he did recognize and heard voices of famous people talking around him. So I don't know what's the truth to that. So those are the latest updates pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. One suit has been tossed because the lady did not file the paperwork under her government name, and that's what Sean and his attorneys have been fighting for, is for her to use her government name so her name could be available to the public. And naturally, I guess she didn't want it. She didn't follow through with the paperwork, but we'll see if maybe she'll go back in and try to refile it again under her government name. Now, we're going to go to Connecticut. It's more nasty business pertaining to Kimberly Sullivan. She has been accused of atrocious crimes against a man who stayed in her house as her stepson. The many allegations of CPS reports, calls made from kindergarten up to the 4th grade. He was taken out of school. Photos have been released now, pictures of the house. Her lawyer is upset because he does not want those photos released. He feels as if she won't get a impartial jury, perhaps even move the future trial to another venue. My thing is this, whether the pictures were released or not, the point is, once the firemen told the public that there were locks on the doors, inside, outside, it didn't really matter. It didn't really matter if we had to wait till trial to see the pictures that the house was a hoarder house and nasty, filthy, or whatever. It doesn't matter. People can use their common sense. You lock the doors for 1 or 2 reasons. To keep people out or to keep people in. That's it. That's it. That's the bottom line. News 3 is the source, everybody. Welcome to the Vault XL. Second story.
Sullivan's attorney is fighting back tonight after police released photos and videos of the alleged House of Horrors. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Erin Connolly.
And I'm Mark Zinni. Her attorney said police never should have given evidence to the press, which has now been seen by millions around the world. Sullivan is the stepmom accused of holding her stepson captive in Waterbury for 20 years.
And your reporter Dylan Farron just spoke to her attorney. He is live in Waterbury with all the details. Dylan.
Well, Kimberly Sullivan's attorneys are furious tonight, Mark and Aaron. The press, including Channel 3, received these pictures and videos yesterday because we requested them through the Freedom of Information Act. We felt the press and the public had a right to see all of that yesterday. But her attorneys aren't buying that, saying that it could impact her at a trial, and it could be tough to find jurors who know nothing about the case or haven't formed their own opinion of Sullivan yet.
The fact that we're standing here defending this woman offends a lot of people. Well, that's just too bad.
Kimberly Sullivan's attorneys have been under fire for weeks as they continue vehemently defending their client. The latest twist in the shocking case is police sending Channel 3 dozens of photos and videos of the alleged prison house. Many of the rooms dirty and damaged from the fire, the alleged victims set to escape. One picture shows a lock on the outside of the door, but it's unclear if that was the victim's room. And newly released video shows an officer questioning Sullivan.
Was the door locked at his room or no?
No,
Okay, is it normally locked?
no,
Okay, it's normally open?
no, yeah,
And he has free reign to go out of there whenever he wants?
yeah.
Okay.
Says he hasn't had a shower in over a year.
Attorney Colloidis is angry police released what he's calling sensitive evidence and discovery, as Sullivan denies everything.
Where are the handcuffs? Where are the chains? Where are the signs of restraint?
No handcuffs or chains in the pictures, but police say the victim was 68 pounds when he was rescued. He's 32 years old.
And as far as his weight, I haven't seen any medical records yet. And there may be other explanations for his weight. Ask a doctor. That's not for me to explain.
But we're continuing to push Colloidis.
but you sure wanna try.
Of specific allegations of torture and starvation in Sullivan's arrest warrant, including that he was limited to 2 sandwiches a day for years.
There was food in the fridge. There was food in the cabinets. She brought food home.
But was he allowed to eat it?
Yes, absolutely.
So where do you think those specifics are coming from?
I have some thoughts.
What are they?
Yeah, what are
They'll all
they?
come out at trial because that's the appropriate place for it.
Sullivan's defense team
And look
may
at his
even file a motion to get
helper,
their trial moved
smiling.
out of Waterbury. Colloidis claims it may be tough
Stupid
to find
lawyers.
enough impartial jurors in the Brass City.
What we're really going to need is some jurors that can keep an open mind. What we have is millions of people behind their keyboards, behind their monitors,
Yep,
having convicted her
yep.
without knowing anything about this case.
I know enough. I'm one of those people.
And Attorney Colloidis wants a full investigation, Mark and Aaron, into how and why those photos and videos were released last night. It's another twist in this bizarre case, Mark and Aaron. Kimberly Sullivan back in court in late April. I'm your reporter live in Waterbury.
Late April. So we're already at the 1st of April. Let's get a good look at this vile creature who he's telling us not to judge. Oh, the theatrics they put on for court. People are upset that he's defending her. Well, yes, people are going to be upset. We know that it's the law. She's entitled to representation. It's just that what has been revealed does not sound good. So let's start there. Seeing is believing. That's why they released the photographs. I will also put a poll up to ask you, do you think the police should have revealed the pictures from the house? He's worrying about an impartial jury. Well, all I can do is tell you to pray about it. Are you a man of faith, sir? Pray about it. God will work it out. Underweight. You have an explanation, but you won't tell us. So what do you think? Why do you think this man would be 68 pounds? Yes, there are a lot of people who are thinly built, come from thin genetics, but I doubt it in this situation. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I doubt it. Let me say this. You heard the police asking her questions when she was in a police car about the locks on the door, coming and going. It was said that the boy was under the table when the police tried to get him out of the house, firemen or whomever. I don't know where he was throughout the night, but we know he started a fire in the room. So at some point he was able to get out of that room. I think she opened that door and let him out because she knew how it was going to look. And when he came out, he went under that table. Now, that's my theory. He went under the table after she let him out and she couldn't get him out, which is kind of scary to think a person would be able to, set the room on fire. She opens the door, let him out, but then he hides under the kitchen table or a table and wouldn't come out. It's very weird information, but I want to put that out there because there are going to be some dodo birds that say, well, he was found under the table, so that means he could walk about the house. I don't know if he could walk about the house or not because I wasn't there, but one thing I do know, there's no reason to have a lock on the inside, on the outside door. For what reason? Like they say, if you're running a boarding house, maybe. People want privacy, don't want anybody going in their room stealing their things. But in the end, it still will be up to the proprietor of the house to say, I want locks on the outside or not. Is this man developmentally delayed? Because we have to ask that question as an adult, why he wouldn't try to escape if he was able to roam about or go outside for 5 minutes, 2 minutes. I'm assuming he's, what, taller than her? An inch, 2? What? How tall is he? Why didn't he overpower her? Push her down, beat her up, strangle her, whatever, to be free. Maybe he feared her, Stockholm Syndrome, afraid to turn against her, didn't have anywhere to go, didn't have any family, didn't have any friends. You got to remember, he's been held hostage for years, so who was he going to go to? Because we're thinking from a sane mind. We're thinking from a rational side of our brain. Why? Okay? Since everybody's always saying, put yourself in the shoes of the person. So I'm going to put myself in his shoes. He's either developmentally delayed or he feared going out, running out, getting help because he didn't know where to go, didn't know how to navigate. And he probably would be delayed to some degree because he hasn't had any interaction with other people, any civilized human beings, except for dealing with her. The fact that one of her friends or coworkers said they didn't even know she had a stepson, that should tell you something. So that means she didn't, except for the people that already knew that he existed. So when she's out there in the world doing her thing, working or gallivanting around, don't nobody even know she got a kid who's a grown man living in her house. Don't you find that strange? I find that very strange. I find that very, very strange. Or strange. Because this is what I keep trying to tell people. You don't know people. You don't know how people live. You don't know how they navigate. You don't know what people are telling people at their jobs, church. You don't know. That house is just a shut door, sitting near a corner. He could have easily, yes, walked out, ran out, and kept it moving, but he didn't. Why he didn't, he'll have to tell us why. But my understanding, he has a sense of humor, so that means he's aware of his faculties. The lawyer has said that he's upset that she's free, and he wants to know why she's walking around after she kept him locked up for 20 years. And here's this little baby monster who comes to court, to me, inappropriately dressed. She's wearing all these low-cut shirts in court. Why? Wow, makeup, eyeliner running up the eye. Why? House hoarded up, junky, room's junky, bathroom looks inoperable. But yet you can see in one room she's got clothes, she's got a big size bed that looks like it's in a common room or dining room. Why? Tired of walking up the stairs? 2 sandwiches a day, maybe 1 to 2 cups of water, that's it. But we heard the stories of how he was not faring well as a child. And the fact that this lawyer here wants to keep going back to 2004 makes no sense to me. When the CPS people went to the house or when the police went to the house, he was okay. He lied. What is it that you don't understand about that, sir? He's probably afraid to speak, especially if the woman is standing there. Parents were standing there. Father living at the time. Don't know if he was there at the time. Why is he going to tell the CPS workers and the police, yeah, I fear for my safety. They're mean to me. They're starving me. They're abusing me. They're locking me in a room and they're standing right there. This is why I say that children need to be taken into an office and the parents sit in one room and the child sits in another room and the child is asked questions. And you make the child feel safe enough to tell the truth, if possible. But going to the house and expecting the child to talk, it's not a good idea. Because the child will still fear for his or her safety. That's why they don't say anything. And this lawyer here, he's hideous to me. He acts like he's dating her. They act like they're dating each other, the way he behaves and the way he speaks to her. Oh, she's appalled and she's shocked at the allegations. She's shocked that she's caught. That's what Kimberly Sullivan is. She's shocked that she's been caught and the cat is out of the bag. Her little dirty secret is out. And everybody knows about it. And you're worrying about the police showing this information to the public, these pictures of her home. So what? So what? It's out. It was going to get out anyway. Because somebody's going to have to go to that house, clean it up, and they were going to tell it. And you can't tell them not to talk. Whoever goes in there to clean the house out, board the house up, however it goes, they'll talk. Because we live in a world where people talk. It's the American way. Big deal. Deal with it. But to sit up here and go on and on about impartial jury, the pictures shouldn't be released, people are, villainizing her before she even goes to trial. Well, she put herself in this situation. And I feel like this, even if the house was clean, even if this was a so-called Ruby Frankie house, people still would be judging the fact that there are locks on the doors inside this house. And there's only 2 people living there. So why do you need rooms locked up and there's only 2 people there? So even if the house was immaculate, I still would be questioning locks on the outside of a door. Why not? Because it's called common sense, sir. And you're doing what most lawyers do. You're trying to appeal to the public that they don't know anything, they don't know everything. You all don't know why he was weighing 68 pounds. There was food in the house. She brought food in. Oh, let me address that. Nobody gives a fuck that there was food in the house. Food was there for her, Kimberly, not for him. I doubt that he's got some type of disease or genetic disorder that has him underweight. And everybody knows that when you starve a person, you are basically committing a future homicide. Because when you starve a person, their organs will fail. So it's not assault and abuse. It's attempted murder. And so I don't know why they keep using that abuse, first degree abuse and all that old nonsense. No, it's attempted murder. Over time, your organs will fail. Your liver, your kidneys, your heart will fail. Common sense. We don't know that he has dementia. We don't know what he has, but I doubt he's sitting somewhere right now not eating. You want me to believe right now, since he's been free, people have been putting plates of food in front of him and he's declined? Is that what you're going to tell us? One of your reasons why he's 68 pounds? Oh, he doesn't like to eat. He's combative. He's autistic. Oh, I can't wait to hear that. That's next. He's autistic. He don't like to eat. He fights her. He's been doing this for years. He's always been a small person. Oh, I can't wait to hear the excuses. I cannot wait to hear the excuses. So as I said before, is he developmentally delayed? Because many people are going to ask that due to the fact that he didn't go get help. But as I said, mind control is a very serious thing. And a lot of people are good at manipulating, conning people. And you have to remember all this started as a child. And we are seeing more and more cases of children who are older who you would think would navigate for themselves and say, hey, I don't like the situation, I want out of here, such as the case in Pontiac, Michigan. Those kids were old enough to run out, but they didn't. 13, 15, but they didn't leave because the mother put fear in them. And I know it's hard for us to understand that. How can you be at an age where you know what somebody's doing to you is wrong and you still don't say, let me open this door and walk out? But if someone has put fear in you, hey, I'll hurt you, I'll harm you, I'll kill you, you better not open this door, you better not step outside, you believe them. Now, we have other children right now that will be a joke to them, especially wayward children. Oh, you gonna kill me? Well, you gonna kill me, I'm walking out this door. I don't care what you say. Obviously, these children, in these cases, did not have that mindset. And what's even more appalling is that this man is now a grown-up. And he's been in this house since about 10 or 11. Dilapidated house, hoarded house, one room filled with Christmas items. This thing here, obviously living in an alternate universe while she's got this child, now a man, locked up in some hoarded room. And like I said, whether he could roam around the house or not, his mental state is what's going to be evaluated and weighed in the court. And that's what we will wait to hear from a licensed doctor to tell us his physical state, his physical health, and a mental doctor to tell us if he has any type of mental disorders and the trauma inflicted upon him that will lead him to not run out if indeed she left the doors open. Like I said, at any point, he could have overpowered her, knocked her down, pushed her down, beat her up. But he didn't, as far as I know. We will wait to hear any evidentiary material that he ever lashed out, put his hands on her. Frankly, I wouldn't care. Just going to keep it real. And I know we're not supposed to advocate violence, but I don't give a damn about somebody beating her up. I'm just going to keep it real. It would not bother me at all. She's one of those type of people that you would hope would be crossing the crosswalk and somebody pushes her out in front of traffic. I said that. God forgive me. Would not care. Oh, did you hear about that lady? She's free on bond. She got hit by a car. Oh, okay. Nasty, I know. No more nasty than what she gave that young man. And I think a lot of people are involved in this crime because too many people had knowledge that he was living like this. Eyewitnesses, her other two children, who are his siblings, two sisters. I believe there was a grandmother mentioned. Then there's the dead father. And now his sister has come out to speak again. The mother has spoken again. And a lot of people may feel some type of way towards the mother because she didn't have custody of this child. She gave him up as an infant. She lost her first girl child. I'd like to know why she lost her first girl child because, see, all that is important. And that's something that I'm noticing with these news broadcasts. You all act like you're scared to ask these people why they lost their children. You need to start asking because the viewers are thinking that. Okay, we're hearing all this stuff about what happened to the victim, but why are we listening to someone who gave the kid up and why? Oh, she felt mentally distraught because of what happened to her first kid. Okay, well, what happened to the first kid? And yes, you can be wrongfully accused by the state, wrongfully accused by the police for a crime. So what did they get wrong in taking her first child away from her, her girl child? What happened there? Because you see, there's always some type of symmetry in these stories that a lot of people just don't want to accept. The children were usually doomed from the time they were conceived. And you see a lot of this in cases where the children end up dead, missing and or dead. You hear the story of abuse at house A. Then they're removed from that house or given up by the parents. And then they go live over here at house B. Then you hear there was some trauma over at house B. Then they move to house C. Still more trauma. And then they go to house D, E, whatsoever. And then somebody adopts them. The next thing you know, we're hearing, oh, they're missing. They're severely abused. They're held in a barn. They're held in an attic. They're held in a shed. The children are just going from one riff-raff situation to the next. And that's what happened to this man, this young man, 32-year-old man. He left a mother who could not provide for him mentally, allegedly, so she let the father raise him. And we don't know if the father mistreated him as an infant or not. He's not here. He's a dead man. He can't tell us anything. And I believe if he was alive, he wouldn't tell us the truth, because he would be facing charges right along his wife, Kimberly Sullivan. And that's what the defense, this goofball here, is getting ready to do. He's getting ready to say it's all his fault. This is his son. No, it's her son too, because she was there since he was a baby. So that's her son. She's not a good mother. Yes, she was the mother to him, mother figure, not his biological mother. But she stood right there for the ride. And I won't doubt that maybe the father was a good father until he met this made-up clown here. And then he turned on his own kid, or allowed her to turn on him. He was the kid out. No love, no camaraderie. So now we got to ask, how was he treated by his other siblings, other sisters? Did they mistreat him, beat him up? Because children lead by example. They see you beating up on a kid and talking bad, they'll do the same. So what do they have to say? Somebody needs to find those two little itty-bitty spiders and get their opinion. You didn't know anything about your brother in his house? You grew up with him. What do you have to say? Oh, that should be nice. I got a feeling, like I said, a lot of people knew and nobody did nothing. Nobody called, nobody say, hey, we need the police over here. this child's being abused. Everybody turned a blind eye. And now her two older kids, they're out here in the world living, probably trying to live their best life. And I'm sure they're thinking, oh shit, it's about to be uprooted now since they know the truth about our brother. Yep, cat's out of the bag. Voila, magic. Because God ain't gonna just let a situation like this continue. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, the truth is out. And that's how I feel with a lot of these stories. The white couple in West Virginia that adopted the 5 kids and abused them, their gig was up. Soto case down in Florida, gig was up. Sadly, a lot of these people, children, are dead, but the gig is up. Her gig is up. The truth is out. Everybody in that small town knows about Kimberly Sullivan living in a hoarder house with locks on doors and a grown man, 10 or 11 years of age. People out here looking for him, friends, mother, allegedly. Now, poof, voila, he surfaces at 68 pounds. This is a travesty. And this goofy lawyer and his sidekick, this guy here, he can't speak hiding the whole damn time like a yes boy. And I get it, that's your job, to be a defender of alleged criminals. But this ain't your typical type of crime, as I've said before. This ain't no stealing socks or a necklace out of Walmart. We're past that type of crime. You're talking about holding a person against their will, mistreating them, not feeding them. So that means you're probably not clothing them. You're not giving them necessities, deodorant, soap. You're not talking to them. You're not holding conversations with them. You're not taking them places. You're not letting anybody visit them. Yes, it's kidnapping. Yes, civil liberties are violated. This woman is disgusting to me. And this lawyer is just as disgusting. Them running in the courthouse last week, holding hands. He's rushing her in there like this is some movie, Gone with the Wind. It's ridiculous. Then she's sitting in court with these low-cut tops on under her coat. Why? You look a hot-ass mess. Wear a turtleneck. You go into court. Look appropriate. Wow makeup, which shows me a sign of somebody that's half-ass deranged in the head. Because usually you see that with women that wear all that wild makeup and eyeliner. They're old as hell and they're walking around with this blue eyeshadow. You're looking at them like, do you know they don't look good? Because usually there is something wrong with them, but they do know right from wrong. And I got a feeling, little toots. And you can tell she spends her money on makeup, clothes. I think I saw a little black fur coat laying around. She cares about herself. Now she's allegedly doesn't have a place to stay, staying with one of her older children, daughters, I believe. And the state wanted her on house arrest, but because she doesn't have a permanent address, she has a GPS monitoring device on. Will that help? I don't know. Will she try to run? I don't know. But she can't give an adequate address, I guess, because, I mean, you know, who knows? She might stay with the daughter 2-3 weeks, decide she don't like it, daughter don't want her there, then she got to go find her somewhere else. But the one thing I said to myself, while all this was unfolding, I said, well, she knows how to show up to court looking halfway decent. Besides that gaudy makeup and them low-cut blouses. She wore a flower one the other day, and I thought, where are you going with this? It's fucking cold in Connecticut. Where are you going? The judge? I think there's a whole lot more to Miss Sullivan that we don't know, Mrs. Sullivan. And I got a funky feeling it's going to come out. Hello, dear. I think there's a whole lot to her because, see, Queen is good at observing people. That's what I do best. See all this makeup, eyeliner going up to the eyelid, mentally off, low-cut tops. You see all that? It's bare. There's way more to this cookie. I believe she spends most of her time out in the street. Now, you can wear that however you like. I think she spends a lot of her time outside of that dusty, run-down house doing God knows what. And I got a feeling somebody's going to come forward and give us a bullseye view of Kimberly's extracurricular activities. And I don't think she's been hanging at the library reading books to the children, if you get my drift. Somebody's going to tell us something. We're going to probably hear from men who have probably taken up with this vulture. Oh, we've dated, we've messed around, we've had sex. It's going to be something. Somebody's going to tell us something, because you can look at how she dresses. And if you ever notice people going to court, when people go to court, they show you how they feel about themselves. So when you come into court with all that bright red lipstick and blush and wild eyeliner, you're not supposed to look like that when you go to court. You're supposed to dress appropriately. You want the judge to even think you could possibly redeem yourself to some degree. Not this cookie. She's going in that courtroom like she's going to the bar. And that's why I said, I believe there's way more to this. There's no telling what she's been doing. I won't doubt she's committed fraud, welfare fraud, tax fraud. There's a whole lot more to her. Possibly a whole lot more to the dead husband, too. And as they say, a dead man tells no tales. We will see. But this lawyer, he's hideous to me, defending her, and he doesn't know anything about her. You took up her case, or she hired you, however it went, and you act like you all are best friends now. In the end, when you go before 12 members of a jury, sir, she is tartar. Because everything that you're crying about is going to be blowed up on a big old screen in court, and people are going to get a bullseye view of how she was living from the front to the back of that house. They're going to learn her finances, anything she's done illegally with money, welfare, whatever, taxes. Anybody that's got a story to tell about her, neighbors are going to come forward. They're going to testify. Family members are going to testify. And anybody that they want to ring up alongside her will probably ask for mercy in exchange to be the state's witnesses. And that'd be a shame now, wouldn't it? She upholding her girl children over this stepson, and then one of them decides to turn on mommy. I ain't going down with you. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to prison, mommy. It's cold in there. But you all didn't mind looking at that young man living in prison. How about that? Isn't that funny how people behave when they're caught? They don't want to go to jail or prison, but they don't mind watching other people suffer in a prison, jail-like setting inside of a house, a barn, a shed, a basement, wherever they're locked up. That's interesting, isn't it? They'll give you some eyeliner in prison. Ask Lori Vallow Daybell. She gets a little makeup. Prison is better than jail. Get you some extra goodies in prison. What's going to happen to Mrs. Sullivan? I do believe they can find out impartial jury members in Waterbury. You know what they're going to do? They're going to lie. When each side asks, do you think you can weigh this situation fairly? Everybody going to lie. Yes, I can. When they're already thinking in their head, yeah, we're going to string this witch up. She deserves it. They're going to lie. Most people don't tell the truth when they're asked questions by the state or the defense to become a jury member. Come on. Lori Vallow Daybell is attending court. She's been giving the business to the judges about witnesses. Val Kimmer has passed away at the age of 65. He died from throat cancer. Prayers to his family. And Gene Hackman. There's some debacle about photos. And the judge ruled that no one should be looking at any pictures of Gene Hackman and his wife, dogs. Why would you all want to look at dead pictures? Some of you all need to get it together. You watch too much YouTube and you watch too much social media. You're starting to act just like this fucking nut here. You're getting detached. You don't know your life. Everything ain't meant to see you, okay? Just like he's crying about those photos of her house. Well, you don't need to see dead pictures of Gene Hackman, his wife, the dog, the cat. Come on. For what? You can't be that morbid, sick. It's macabre. You want to see dead people for? Just stop it. Just stop it. No reason to see pictures of dead people. It's over with. They're dead. They died from natural causes. It's over with. Let it go. Just let it go. And if any of you post those pictures, you're a dirty bird, and nothing good's going to come to you. Because there's no reason to be sitting up here trying to go look at pictures of a dead man and his wife. For what reason? It's not a trial. It's not going to be a trial. They're dead. They're old people. The man was almost 100 years old. And why his daughters are going on and on about foul play and all that, I don't know what the hell's wrong with those two. But bring a receipt. Now, you go hire a different toxicologist that can test hair, bones to show they were poisoned. Okay. Go from there. But nobody needs to be looking at pictures of dead people. It's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Two-part live, everybody. Sean Puffy Combs. One female accuser. Her case has been dismissed by a judge. The judge said she had so long to use her government name in filing paperwork. And there you have it. And then just as quick as the judge dismisses that case, here comes a new male accuser claiming he was assaulted, drugged, 2015. And we've got the likes of Jay-Z, Beyonce, LeBron James, Gloria Estefan and her husband Emilio involved in this debacle. What a mess. Want to get an update to both stories? I'll bring you the information. New information coming out about Mr. Korberger, more and more about the evidence, evidentiary material. Sad case of 4 children brutally slain in Idaho. And I'm sure his lawyers, just like this one here, wants a different venue. Don't think anyone can give a fair rendering in Moscow, which I'm sure they can find 12 people there. That's my commentary, everybody. Southwest of Salem is my movie of the week. It's a documentary playing on Tubi. It's free. Check it out. I hope that you all have a wonderful week. God bless all of you. Please stay safe. Mind the children. And if you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution, not the problem. Before I check out of here, this Kaimani Lateef story is so ratchet and vile. I was watching videos the past couple nights, interviews with the mom, and there's a lot that's off with the case naturally. There's something off with that grandmother, and her case is similar to what I've been talking about here on this network for years, that most of these children are doomed from birth. They're doomed. They're absolutely doomed. You understand what I'm saying? They are doomed because it's sad that they are born to people who, for some reason, can't navigate to do right by them. And then they end up losing custody or giving them up. Then they go over here, they go over here, they go over here, however many places they go. And then sadly, they end up severely abused and or murdered. God forbid, missing, we never find them. It's just another story. The community has gathered the other day. They've moved the memorial from the house because they're going to tear the house down in the city. And I had said to myself when I watched that video yesterday, I would have never went up to that door and hung one balloon because, naturally there was no fence. So the lady next door said it's okay for them to use her fence to hang the balloons and teddy bears and things. But I would have never hung balloons and teddy bears up at the door where a child was murdered. I know some people might say, well, why would you say that, Queen? I just wouldn't, because to me it's a bad omen. I'm not walking up to the door where a child was brutally, whether she was murdered there or not, but her remains were there and the house was burning. I'm not walking up to that door to do nothing. Not to put a teddy bear, balloon, candle. No, At the curb, near the grass, where the grass meets the sidewalk, yes. But up to the door, no. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But naturally, you know, people wanted to put things to show that the child's life mattered. I get the sentiment. But I'm saying, I personally, I would have never walked up to the door, the porch, and put teddy bears, balloons, so on and so forth. That's just quaint. Because that's tainted soul that you're on, first of all. Where a bum-ass father, or whomever he is to her, took her there. You know how they found her body. We don't need to discuss it. And then he set the damn house on fire. Do you really want to be standing up there putting balloons and teddy bears up there on the same porch? We don't know if he walked through the back door, front door. It doesn't really matter. I'm just saying, for me, it's an omen. I don't want to be nowhere near that stinking house. And people were making crazy comments about tear the house down, tear the house down. Okay, we know she was found there. We know it's a terrible situation. If it wasn't that house, it was going to be somewhere. A river, a ravine, the woods. He's going to dump her somewhere. You know, I'm not trying to sing mean, but what I'm trying to make people understand is it's just a house. The point is, a man violated his own kid, assaulted her body, and then dumped her. He was going to dump her wherever. And I get it. Nobody wants to look at the house. I'm all for that. But don't make it seem like it's just about the house. That was just a pit stop. Okay? Don't lose focus. This story is bigger than a burning house, dilapidated house. The story is about a kid who was failed, doomed from birth. And she trusted these people to look out for her, and they didn't. That's what the story's about, not a house. It's about people who this child hoped would care for her, love her, and they failed her. And I don't think the mother is right. I don't think the grandmother is right. And this guy, Darnell, who's supposed to be her biological father, we already know he ain't right. And the fact that he could do what he did to her is just, there are no words, as the grandmother said when asked, how does she feel about her? And I do find that strange, too. You can describe what he did to your granddaughter, but you can't describe how you feel about her as a human being, which is bizarre. That whole interview is bizarre. But I always tell people, let them talk, they will tell on themselves. The grandmother told on herself. She basically told something was not right in the child rearing and the relationship between she and that daughter, granddaughter, Kaimani. Shit was way off. And sadly, the child is no longer alive. And I don't even know to say prayers to the family because I don't know these people. And what I'm seeing so far, Kaimani didn't have any family. Not trying to be rude, just call them a spade a spade. There might be some good relatives out there, distant relatives, but the immediate ones, they ain't hitting on SHIT. And when we say, if you see something, say something, that's like talking to a wall, is it not? Because people do tell, call, look at all these reports that went in for each of these cases I've been talking about, and nothing was done. One guy was kidnapped from childhood up until adult. He finally set a room on fire and got free by the grace of God. Kaimani, same thing. Except she didn't make it. Calls. 2 CPS visits to the grandmother. She's now dead. So even telling and calling, that doesn't seem to work. Because like somebody said, so long as there's a bed, a cot, a pallet on the floor, food in the refrigerator, they don't remove the kid. And a clean house don't prove anything. Food in the refrigerator don't prove anything. The proof is what you don't see. And sadly, in her case, there was proof. She went to school bruised up, and you all didn't do a damn thing. So now this BS about a task force, for what? A task force to do what exactly? A task force for the Department of Human Services? Or a task force for the police department? I'm confused. Because if you don't have people that's diligent to do their job, What's the point of a task force? You'll be right back where you started. More children being abused, neglected, and you are allowing them to stay in the homes with their parents. And I get it. Many people are not trying to take in foster children. Many people want to adopt newborn babies. It's just the way it is. People want children that don't have an identity yet. They want to form the child. That's why so many children stay in foster care. And it's really hard to believe that an infant and a toddler could be going from house to house to house. And you're like, damn, the baby's 10 now. They're still in foster care? Yep. Why? Don't know. But that's a scary thought. Somebody getting a 2-year-old. The next thing you know, the 2-year-old's moved out. And now you know, you look up, whoop, it's a 10-year-old, 11-year-old. Make it make sense. It don't make no sense. And then we wonder why we have wayward people out here. They're wayward because of how people treated them. Moving around, place to place, place to place. You don't even know who you are when you move around. Place to place. 5, 6, 7 different homes. You don't have an identity. You don't know how to think. You know how to react. That's why people act violent. They pop off. They get angry, easily irritated, because they've had to fight from place to place, place to place. They had to learn different ways, different attitudes, and they don't know who they are. And that's common. And I don't think a lot of you all understand that, especially those of you who were raised by one mother or 2 parents, a grandmother, grandfather, and they treated you well. Something happens to you when you're shifting around. You don't know who you are. And now you're going out into the world trying to navigate around all these other attitudes and dispositions. And it's like you're reliving your childhood all over again. Who do I trust? Who do I talk to? Who do I confide in? No one. Because they're just as bad as these people who said they love me. But sometimes strangers do treat you better than your family. Sometimes they don't. And sadly for Kamani, she was just a wounded bird. Shifted around until her untimely murder. It's pathetic. It's despicable. It's pathetic. It's vile. And it's no different than this garbage standing here in this courtroom with these 2 attorneys. They don't know her from a can of paint. And if they would have passed her in the street, they wouldn't look at her, and she'd probably spit on them. This is a business. Always remember that about the judicial process. From the judge, all the way down to the court clerk, to the defendant, to the state, to the police, it's a business. They make money off you doing wrong. Let's keep it real. Talk is cheap. Redeem yourself. Find God, Allah. Courts don't move without money, which means you have to be a defendant to keep the court doors open. The typewriter typing, computer operating. As sad as true crime is, the courts don't stay open without it. Unless you're paying taxes, business taxes, things like that, marriage license, you know. But the other side of the court is the dirty, grimy side. This side right here. What's going to happen with Mrs. Sullivan? I hope they give it a max. Don't have this bitch walking free. She don't deserve freedom. She's free now out on bond. She don't deserve that. And I think it's time for the courts to start realizing you don't have any business allowing these people to bond out. Because it's not fair that she gets to walk free after what she did to that man who was a child and trusted her. How's it fair for her to walk around? I don't care. She ain't got a place to stay. I could care less. She's got freedom, and she don't deserve 1 day free. Sit her ass in jail up until trial, and then let the 12 members of the jury decide her fate. And I pray they put her behind bars, because that's where she belongs. And I don't mean no 1 year, 2 year, 10-year probation type SHIT. Give her day for day, what she gave that guy. Matter of fact, she gave him 20 plus years of misery. Give her 45. Double it. Cruel and unusual punishment. Give her the max. Thank you for your time. God bless all of you. Stay woke. You've been listening to the Vault XL. Thank you.